Well, you wrote kind of a unique piece here, I have to say, because typically we see, okay, here are the power rankings, or here are the teams with the best offense, or the teams with the best quarterbacks, or and those are all fun conversation pieces. But I don't think I've seen one like this. And you did ranking NFL roster cores, the 32 teams' top 5 players. I don't know if you've done this before. Was this your idea or something you've done before? How did this come about?
No, first time, and not my idea at all. It's my editor's idea, so we'll throw him some credit. And no, first time. First time was an interesting exercise.
Yeah, and so tell us about the Seahawks. You have them ranked at number 14, and for our listeners, the core is quarterback Geno Smith, wide receiver DK Metcalf, wide receiver Tyler Lockett, cornerback Tariq Woolen, offensive tackle Charles Cross. My first question for you, Seth, is what's more fascinating, Geno becoming a Pro Bowler in his, 10th year, or a fifth-round corner, Tariq Woolen, having the impact that he had? Only played corner for, a couple of years in college. This is kind of an interesting list you have here.
Ooh, I mean, that's close because, Geno's career has been fascinating. I used to be a Jets beat writer, so I covered Geno Smith's beginning part of his career, and it was wild to see everything that happened in Seattle, and credit to him because he played so well. But I agree with you. I think the Woolen story is interesting, but I think also don't sleep on the idea of having 2 rookie tackles, even though they were first rounders, both played pretty well in Cross and Lucas. When I've done research on rookie tackles, rookie offensive linemen, even if they're early drafted, they don't usually have success right away. They're usually below average right away. So I think that's another big thing that the Seahawks have working for them.
Yeah. Now, how did you go about identifying what you deem the core? I mean, I guess you could have gone with any 5 players. Certainly you're going with impactful players, but how did you narrow it down to these guys?
Yeah, I think someone asked me, and I said like vibes mostly. No, I think I think it's. I'm looking at the team, figuring out who are the most important players when we think about their skill to the team, but also positional value certainly plays a big role. So you can, there are linebackers on this list, but you just have to be kind of exceedingly important. For Seattle, I think the first 4 were really easy. I think that Metcalf and Lockett, to me, are a really good receiving core. I think Tyler Lockett will go as I think people always talk about him as being like the most underrated receiver. Right. And sometimes when that happens, it's like, oh, is he so underrated he's not underrated anymore? Not true with Tyler Lockett. He's still underrated. Yeah. We have our receiver tracking metrics, which sort of evaluate guys on a route-to-route basis, whether they're targeted or not. And Lockett, had the 3rd highest overall score last year. I mean, he can't buy a yak yard, but besides that, like the rest of his game, I think is so exceptional. So those 4 to me, I think really stand out. I certainly do think that Russell Wilson losing Metcalf and Lockett, that didn't help, right, when he moved to Denver. And then the last one, to me, it came down probably to the 2 tackles, Cross and Lucas. And I gave a little weight to the draft there because I think you could make a case that Lucas was maybe even a little bit. Well, I should say that in pass protection, maybe a little better. But Cross maybe it was close. But either way, I think you could make the argument for either of those guys. I know some people would say Kenneth Walker. I don't think I would go there.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned in the article you mentioned Abraham Lucas and Kenneth Walker and Lucas. Yeah, he was sneaky good. I mean, we have a guy on our pre and post, and he comes on the show regularly. Ray Roberts, who was a first round draft choice rookie tackle back in 92. But and he was just raving about Abraham Lucas and some of the little things that he did against some really good pass rushers and. He maybe could have been. I mean, I would have also given the nod to Charles Cross just because first rounder, and that does carry all that status. But yeah, Abraham Lucas sounds like you looked at him and that it was close, maybe that he might be on that list.
It was like I had them neck and neck, kind of like on the spreadsheet when I was filling out. I think I had them both there, and it was like come back, decide later.
Yeah.
Bobby Wagner, by the way, age was kind of like a tiebreaker for me, but Wagner you could easily make the case in coming back after the year he had with the Rams, one of their only successes in the Rams season last year. Could have considered him too.